Would I be the jerk for asking my fiancé to remove someone as a bridesmaid because of something she said while inebriated? I'm lucky enough to be engaged to the woman of my dreams. She's perfect in every way, and the wedding is currently scheduled for next June. Right now, along with my fiancé, I have a very close friend living with us. She was my roommate in college and basically family. 5 months ago, she found out she was pregnant when she was told her entire life it was impossible for her to have kids. She was ecstatic, but her boyfriend, in case it comes up he was also my roommate and basically family, wasn't, and begged her to have an abortion. Basically, she thought she'd never have another chance, but they were absolutely not in any position to raise a kid at the moment. Their relationship got very strained and she ended up having a miscarriage. 1 week after, she found out her boyfriend was having an emotional affair with a coworker. They broke up and she ended up also getting into a massive fight with her family. Obviously, I moved her into my place ASAP, and while she was definitely struggling for a while, I'm glad to say she seems to be slowly healing. A few nights ago, my fiancé had some of her friends over, all of which are bridesmaids. My friend joined them and all of them ended up getting pretty drunk. My fiancé falls asleep pretty fast when she's drunk, so I carried her up to our room and tucked her in so I could take care of everyone else. My friend at that point had started drinking really heavily and looked kind of sick, so I walked her up to her bathroom and held her hair for about 20 minutes while she puked. When I figured she had enough out of her system, I left her to go check on the other girls and get them home. I was walking down the steps and heard one of her friends make a comment about me helping my friend up because I wanted to get in her pants. The other girls around her immediately told her off. They're all aware of my friend's situation, by the way, and I just stood obstructed on the stairway trembling in anger. I managed to calm down temporarily, come down and send them all home in Ubers. I had offered to drive them before, but in all honesty I felt so angry I did not want to be in that position. 3 days later and I'm still angry. I genuinely don't ever want to be in the same room as this woman ever again, let alone have her 8 feet away as I say my vows. I haven't told my fiancé any of this yet, but I was planning to do so tomorrow, as well as request her friend at least be removed from having a role, if not flat out be uninvited to the wedding. So would I be the jerk for asking to remove her for something she said when she was drunk? From the comments, info, would you consider talking to this friend about how her comment made you feel and see how things go from there? How is the relationship between you two? Usually friendly or strained? Was this possibly a poor attempt at a drunken joke? I'm not saying what she said is right, just trying to look at it from all angles here. Removing a bridesmaid or uninviting someone is a pretty big step. Just want to make sure this is something you really want to do. OP, honestly I've thought about it, but I definitely would need to wait a little longer as I'm still seeing red. Relationship has been fine before. I'm not especially close to her as I am with some of my fiancé's other friends, like her maid of honor. But we've never been on bad terms. I'd say friendly. It was worded as a joke, but her tone was accusatory. Maybe I won't rush into banning her until I at least talk to her. Edit. Quite a few comments on this now. I want to address a few points. First, my fiancé and her friends do not have problems with alcohol. My girl is a lightweight and none of her friends were blackout drunk or anything that far. The only person who puked was my friend. Passing out because you drank too much and falling asleep after having a couple drinks are two entirely different things. Okay, I really gotta spell it out here because this is getting effing ridiculous. Every girl not living in my house had 3 to 4 drinks that night. Enough that none of them were getting behind the wheel, but not enough that they were all massively hammered and completely out of control. My fiancé had maybe 3 drinks and fell asleep 30 minutes after. Not passed out, not blacked out, just fell asleep. My friend was the only one who drank heavily. Easily the equivalent of 6, maybe a couple more at most. At absolutely no point have I ever indicated I was going to take action or demand. My particular wording was request above, not demand, before talking to my fiancé about the whole story and the issue. I now intend to talk to the bridesmaid as well before I request anything. I understand I'm being a little overly sensitive. The reality is this whole situation has been harsh and shitty for everyone involved. In particular, I know I've been very defensive of my friend given her current situation with her family, and it is entirely possible some of this anger towards bridesmaid was redirected from things my friend's sisters have said and done to her in recent history. All this being said, there is absolutely positively nothing more between me and my friend besides a deeply platonic relationship. I do not have romantic or feelings to my friend at all, nor am I insecure about society telling me I can't have women friends without wanting to sleep with them. I'm just worried about my friend who's still in a pretty bad place and feel like very insulted someone would insinuate I would be taking advantage of her in such a state.
She has not been living with us for 5 months. She found out she was pregnant 5 months ago. Her miscarriage happened approximately 2 months, and she moved into my place about 2 weeks after that.
Update. So after I posted last time, it became pretty clear that regardless of if I was overreacting or not, I had to talk to my fiancé immediately. So I went to talk to my fiancée about what I heard, and it turns out she knew about what was said literally the morning after. The whole friend group pulled up the bridesmaid who really had just intended to make a crass joke and was actually unaware of most of my friend's predicament. No one knew I heard it, so she only ended up apologizing to my fiancée and telling her she legitimately didn't mean offense nor thought in any way I was cheating on her. I told my fiancée everything, showed her the post, told her how it felt to be accused like that, and long story short, she got the friend to come over as soon as possible. There were a ton of apologies going around. I admit I overreacted to a comment and took it to mean the absolute worst way possible. Didn't make the comment in any way not horrible, and she did apologize profusely for how it came across. By the end of it, we were all good. I thought that would be it, but Bridesmaid and the rest of the group actually went significant steps forward. My friend will hang out with people who come over, but in all honesty, she doesn't leave the house. Not that I blame her. The bridesmaid has taken charge along with the rest of the group, and they've all made surprise plans for them and my friend to do things my fiancé thinks everyone, especially my friend, will enjoy. In all honesty, I've felt very slighted the past half week. I wasn't sure how this situation would be resolved in a way that I'd be able to forgive this person for what they've said. But taking her own time and money to make someone I care about who's suffering feel better is so much better than anything I could have imagined. Also, she brought cookies, and being angry and holding on to anger makes you really hungry, so yeah, we're incredibly square. Thank you to those who legitimately criticized me. Edit. Just realized I technically never said it. Bridesmaid is still bridesmaid. Edit 2. Bridesmaid even did something super sweet for my puppy. My dummy son was extremely upset I ate all the chocolate chip cookies without offering him a bite because I like him alive, and he played her so bad she dropped off a puppuccino for him this morning. From the comments, I don't know what other possible way she could have meant that comment about you wanting to get into her pants. The comment just didn't go over as well as she'd hoped, and so she had to retreat when the others came down on her. Keep an eye on her comments and behavior towards you in the future. OP, she explained it. She was drunk, had the thought pop in her head, and just said it. I talked to my little brother while I was trying to think about how to respond to all of this, and besides calling me hot-headed, he said something I really thought about when forgiving her. Your first thought is what you're conditioned to think. Your second thought is what you actually believe. In my opinion, her second thought was what she showed me in her apology. Her first thought was dumb. She thought it would be funny and said it without filtering or thinking how it would be perceived to others, especially given she did not have all pertinent information. When she apologized for everything, she told me she has never once actually questioned my faithfulness to my fiancé. She definitely never thought I would be capable of SA, even if that's not how she meant her comment. She told me she considered me a friend and hoped that despite this, if I could forgive her, I would consider her one back. These to me are the words of someone whose second thought, her true feelings, are not reflected in her dumb butt comment. That's why she and I are good. From the comments, people that use drinking as an excuse to say or do dumb things should concern you. Alcohol only impedes your inhibitions. It doesn't put thoughts in your mind that aren't already there. My mother was a bad alcoholic, and I'm all saying is that she is someone you should just be aware of moving forward. Forgive, sure, but I can assure you that thought didn't just appear out of the ether because she was drinking. It could be a result of her own experiences with men and alcohol, but it's something you should keep in the back of your mind. She did question your faithfulness, and if the girls had ran with it instead of checking her, this would be a very different conversation. OP, I'll clarify, she herself told me she didn't want to use drinking as an excuse, and she took full responsibility for what she said. I'm not taking it as an excuse at all, rather an explanation for why she said her first thought and not her second. That being said, I completely get where you're coming from, and I appreciate you looking out for